Coming to you from the great state of Wisconsin, this is a CS27 Studios production. You're listening to the Binary Brothers Podcast featuring Ryan and Clay. It's time now to open your ears and prepare your mind because life's too short to be constrained in black and white. So without further ado, here are your hosts, Ryan and Clay.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Binary Brothers Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ryan. And with me, as always, is my co-host, Clay.
Hey-o.
How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing.
The two-hand wave. I like it. Get them both in.
You got to dual-wield the hand waves every once in a while, you know?
If you got two hands, you got to use them, right?
Yeah. I mean, if I dual-wield the finger guns, I might as well dual-wield the hand waving.
Are you a finger guns guy? I know that I've caught myself.
I'm a sarcastic finger guns guy.
I think that's really what it is. Like, I don't think I've ever really...
I don't do it seriously. Yeah.
I'm always like, cut it out. Or like an angry finger guns.
No, I don't really think I ever seriously do a finger gun. Not even one finger gun.
Not even a single.
No.
Single finger.
No.
Pew, pew.
I don't even know what I do.
I mean, it's hard, right? It's
in a situation like that.
You know what you do? No. You just do it. It's instinct to you now, right?
Yeah, but I don't even know what that is. I don't even remember what that situation is like anymore. I haven't been around people in forever.
I haven't had the opportunity to maybe awkwardly finger gun someone because, we're still just super deep in this panoramic.
Yeah, I just when I think of finger gunning, I always think of basically I'm always sarcastically doing it in an imitation Kevin Hart style.
Yeah.
I always do the clap, you know. The clap, the snap, and the dual wield. And it's never serious.
That seems about right though.
Yeah.
This is we were just talking about this before we started. It's episode 41. We're into our 40s now.
Yeah, we are well into our 40s now. It's not even a question anymore.
Yeah. No, it's a whole new year too. I mean, our last episode was our best of 2020.
Yeah. So it's been a while since our last episode.
It's been a while, and you couldn't have predicted.
2021 has started out with zero chill.
It woke up and chose chaos.
And I'm usually team chaos. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I'm all about team chaos.
Let's get after it.
Usually.
Let's get wild.
Let's screw the norms. Let's see what we can do here. See what new adventures we can find.
Add some.
You know, we could have done a video, or not video. Well, I mean a video. We're on YouTube.
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
If you didn't know.
If you guys want to see us, instead of just hearing the sultry sound of our voices, you can head over to the YouTubes.
You get two for the price of one.
Yeah, you could maybe play both at the same time. You could play the podcast, just audio, and then play the video and mute the video, and try and sync. You probably should just watch the video.
Yeah, I would. The video and audio is included together.
Do we have video? It's not just the video.
Right.
We have audio on there too.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, you heard it here first, guys.
I know. It's crazy new technology.
It's a smorgasbord of just.
But we could have certainly done this episode earlier in the month of January here. Instead, we're pretty much kicking off February with this episode.
Yeah. Yep.
But I mean, you kind of knew there was things going to happen in January. Yeah. So, kind of wanted to wait to see what would happen, because we don't want to get out of date. Quickly here with our episode.
Yeah.
The things we say.
Talking about some stuff coming up and then have it just be old news.
Yeah, that's no fun for anyone.
Thoroughly established at this point.
Yeah. So, a lot of things have happened in the month of January 2021. And we're going to talk about pretty much all of it.
Yeah. We're going to get into it, all of it. So buckle up, Buttercup.
Yeah.
We're getting it. But first, as is tradition, we have to loosen up.
Yeah, it's super important for this episode because we're literally going to be talking about everything.
Yeah, if we tried to go right into this episode, there's no way we're not going to blow a hammy. Something rotator cuffs would just be strewn across the floor. So we got to get in. We have to just smooth roll in. All right. So what do you want to start with?
Let's start with music, Ryan. What
right.
music have you been tickling your eardrums with?
So I don't know that I've really listened to like an album in particular that's like come out this year or like a song.
I mean, the year is young.
The year is young, right? There's not a lot going on yet. I think Drake just pushed his album back. I don't know when that was supposed to get released. Maybe this month, but got pushed back. But I've been playing St. John. I don't know if I've ever mentioned St. John on here before.
If you did, it was a while ago and probably only once.
Yeah, he did. He got like a song that got really popular. It's a Roses remix with Future. And
you cannot remix Roses. I'm sorry.
Well, no. He did an original song called Roses.
Oh,
not the Roses you're thinking of.
See, I think we had this conversation.
I feel like we probably did.
It's starting to like trickle back into my memory bank here, like this same conversation.
Not that Roses. He made his own Roses, and he had a remix to that Roses.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm consistent in my like critique of this, fake Roses.
I mean, consistency is key. So I'm not mad about it.
No.
So yeah, I think I've been listening to just a lot of just random radios. I've been working a bunch, so just whatever to get me in the zone. But I think just anything outside of that, I've been listening to like radio stations made off of songs that he has. So just that general vibe. So big St. John thing, run the Jewels radio, classics.
Yeah.
So nothing in particular, just some standard vibes for me. What about you, man? You had anything new and exciting musically?
I've been kind of I'm kind of like you, where I've been kind of just mixing it up, not really listening to anything in particular. I would say probably for the most part, I'm listening to playlists or radio stations based off like, early 2000s punk rock music, like some Newfound Glory and stuff like that,
Yeah.
So, some of that, some Goldfinger, some, Blink-182, Sum 41, some Paramore, stuff like that. Although Paramore is not really early 2000s, but kind of that style of music.
That style.
Yeah.
What's funny is like I normally have stuff like that in rotation, but I just I haven't really this year so far.
Well, the year is young, Ryan. The year is young.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get back into it.
Yeah. No, it's that kind of genre of music is probably my go-to for, I guess, these pandemic times.
Right.
Because I need something kind of, especially with everything that's been going on. We'll talk about everything that's going on. Some anti-establishment type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
To kind of get me through this pandemic and events of this yesteryear. But even in general, I like kind of the upbeat nature of it and right. Kind of the mix between, rock and pop and punk and, that kind of stuff. The alternative stuff, So.
Feel ya.
That's mostly what I've been listening to lately in this post-holiday world. No more Mariah Carey here.
No more Mariah Carey? Oh.
Actually, I don't even think I listened to that song once during the holidays. Like, I don't even remember if it even played, like, where I was. Because I didn't go out shopping. Like, I didn't go out, so it's not like it was on one of the store's loudspeakers or anything like that. So
yeah, like I'm normally super inclined to shop online, but I mean, obviously, especially this year, and like we did like a Secret Santa, we just had like stuff shipped to people.
Yeah. And I mean, I honestly I have the song on like my Christmas playlist that I have.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like I don't play Christmas music all that often, even during Christmas season, even during the holidays. Like I'll just pop it on every once in a while. And I got plenty of songs on that playlist that are holiday songs, but so like I don't get overwhelmed with that song, you know. Yeah. And it's a super catchy song if, you know, you're not playing it all the time, right? So like I don't actually mind that song. I actually kind of enjoy it because I don't really listen to it, you know, nonstop during the holiday season.
It's not overdone, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, but I don't even think I listened to it once this year. I don't really think I listened to much, if any, holiday music this year.
I think we
weird.
When we put up the tree, I think we put on like a Pentatonix Christmas like mix or something.
Sure.
I think it was probably all of the Christmas music I actually listened to.
Yeah.
This year.
Usually I pop in some Trans-Siberian Orchestra and all that stuff, but
I don't think I even listened to Christmas in the Hollis once. Oh man. Dang.
This was a weird holiday season, right? You know, with the quarantine and pandemic and everything, and
yeah,
it was tough. It was tough to get into the mood.
It's still going on. It's still happening.
It still is. Hasn't gone away.
Hasn't gone anywhere.
We're still setting records. We're still number one over here.
Yeah,
We're number one.
Oh, for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
Oh, so good.
But that was 2020, Ryan.
Yeah, we'll just leave that in the past. The calendar changed. Right?
2021 cannot possibly be any worse.
We've started another rotation around the sun.
Well, but we'll get into that.
We'll get into
We'll get into 2021, but Ryan, I need to know.
Don't rush me.
What are you looking forward to here?
I don't even know, man. This is the weird thing.
No.
It's like it's one of those things, right? Where like January, February, like there's not really much going. Like holidays just happened. You know, I just had my longer vacation from work and whatnot. So, you know, not much is actually happening normally this time of year.
Yeah, usually you don't really take off, you know, take PTO or time off during these months because you tend to like to save it towards, you know, the end of the year for holidays and not waste it all.
Yeah.
Or when there's better weather, you know, during the summer.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like I don't think we have anything really planned. Nothing's really going on in general, so I'm kind of just chilling.
Just chilling.
Doing the thing. I was looking at my calendar before we started recording this. I'm like, do I have anything coming up? And like the closest thing is like my work anniversary, and it's like,
oh my god,
that's just another revolution around the sun.
Right.
This time not at the office. So yeah, I don't know, man. Not really much going on. So
any side projects or anything?
Not really much of anything going on. We're like side company's kind of working on a new thing. We're not really sure though. We're getting into it. We'll see.
Fair enough.
As is tradition with that type of thing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I always try and work on something a little bit on the side. I know a lot of people are like, you know, you you do your job like all day, and like our job is like writing code and stuff. So like, do you really want to write code in your spare time? It's like, yeah, sometimes, not all the time.
It really depends.
It really depends on what it is. Like if you're really interested in it, like if you're passionate about the thing. So like this thing I'm pretty like interested in. I'm excited to see how it turns out. So I don't know. We'll see. More details later. But
is there like a time frame for it, or is it near future type of thing, or
near future? We're really trying to put out like basically like an MVP pretty soon.
Right.
Like just throw something out there. Don't spend too much time. Don't sink too much time into it.
Right. Throw it out there, get some feedback, see if it works, see if people like it, expand from there if needed.
I'll hit you up with it for sure.
For sure. All right.
I think you'll be interested.
Okay. All right. Looking forward to that. Oh yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. So what other than the incoming invite to my not yet finished side project?
Right.
What are you looking forward to?
Man, I'm in the same boat as you. It's a weird kind of time of year. It's January, February, and back when I was living up in Wausau.
In the saw.
This time of year was. Some people do.
I just did.
You just did. You sound like a local. I'm wearing a Wausau shirt right now.
Look at you go.
From my coaching days. But yeah, when I was living up there, it was this time of year was none too bad because there's the ski hill right there.
Yeah.
That I would go snowboarding, so I always look forward to fresh snow and some pow days. Shred the pow, bro.
Get that fresh pow.
Fresh pow. Shred that gnar. But living here, I haven't really snowboarded since I've been living down here. The only time I went snowboarding was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When I went to Colorado.
Yeah.
So
you really left to go.
I really left to go. That was the last time I've gone. It's kind of spoiled me. It really did spoil me.
Well, I mean, I would imagine. I mean, I'm not a snowboarder. I've gone snowboarding once, but I don't know, dude. I would just imagine that going to Colorado to do it there would just be
anywhere that has
kind of spoil everywhere else, right?
Yeah, anywhere that has actual mountains, Rocky Mountains, Appalachian Mountains, not Midwest glacial hills.
Yeah.
Nothing against our glacial hills.
Nothing against the glacial hills.
In our geography features.
I mean, I like our area and its topography.
Yeah, it's lovely.
You can get out there. There are some hills. Where else is there I forget where I went snowboarding the one time that I went.
Well, around here is Alpine Valley.
I think we went somewhere else.
And that's a lot more famous nowadays for,
concerts and stuff, right?
Yeah, concerts as the Alpine Valley amphitheater there, and so a lot of people go there for concerts. Has a golf course there, which is pretty decent.
Run the Jewels and Rage Against the Machine were supposed to be there.
Oh yeah,
last year.
That would have been a good show.
Sad.
Yeah, but there was a hill over in Oconomowoc, but it's no longer functioning. It was that hill was literally a garbage dump that they just turned into a ski hill.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's what they did with the new dog park in West Dallas, I think. It was used to be garbage here, and then someone was like, "Yeah, my dog got glass in his foot." I'm like, "Oh no, is the dump striking back?"
The dump strikes back. Yeah. There's not really a whole lot of places around here, especially down here by Milwaukee.
Yeah.
We don't really have any ski hills.
Too much darn city.
Yeah. Not really convenient to get to anything around here. A lot of people just go up to Wausau, to good old Granite Peak.
Yeah,
I mean, that's where people from Chicago go too. So
really,
that's like the play. I think it's the largest quote unquote mountain in Wisconsin.
It's the ski capital of the Midwest.
Not the Midwest, no. Wisconsin, probably, but no. You got. There's some good hills up in the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. There,
that should be ours. The UP should be ours. We should go take it. I think now's the time.
Now's the time.
Everyone's restless. They've been lulled. Some people have been lulled. Others are restless. I say we take advantage of it. Reclaim the UP for us.
I mean, it was never ours though.
Well, then we just take it in the first place.
Right? Like the history of this region. If you did not know, Ryan, this whole area, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, was the Michigan Territory. And then Michigan became a state, which included the Upper Peninsula part, and then where we are, Wisconsin and Minnesota, and a little bit farther west was the Wisconsin Territory.
Okay.
And then Wisconsin became a state, only in the shape that we're in, and so on and so forth.
Territories were much larger.
Oh yeah, much larger. I mean,
become a state, and it's got to be more manageable.
Do you know about the Louisiana Territory?
I have heard about it and the size of it.
I mean, it's pretty large. It's pretty large. It spanned a large amount of land in the south and west.
Yeah.
And we bought it like for a penny.
Yeah.
Not literally, but like we bought it for super cheap.
Handful of buttons and a few shovels.
Yeah. Texas used to be Mexico.
Oh man. Back in the day.
The good old days.
I can't say that.
I know. Once again, sarcasm right there.
Sarcasm.
Usually, whenever I use the finger guns and the good old days, it's always sarcasm.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, when do I say the good old days and actually mean legitimate good old days?
I don't know, man.
I like that I follow like some Midwestern Twitter account, and they're like, yeah, back in the day or the other day, it was either an hour ago or 10 years ago. You decide.
Right. Some fellas came up to the produce stand the other day.
I just watched a blooper reel.
Did you?
For season 7 of that, yeah.
I still need to get caught up on that.
Gotta catch up, man.
Super Leggin'.
I think I watched the new season twice. It came out the day after Christmas, and it's I mean, the episodes are short, and there's only like 6 to 8 of them.
Super consumable for sure.
Oh yeah.
But 2021.
2021. The calendar. You had to get a new one if you are into paper calendars. What's funny is my mom normally gets a calendar every year from the car dealership that she goes to just regular maintenance on her car and stuff. And she like hasn't gone this year, or just like hasn't really gone inside whatever like lately. And so she's like, can you print me off some of these calendar pages so that I can use them to track some of this stuff like for my nephew. She's like, I haven't gotten to the dealership, gotten a new calendar yet. She always gets a nice like Ford like trucks or like Mustangs calendar or something. It's always fun. I did not pick that up from her using a physical calendar, so I just let the old phone and internet take care of switching the 0 to a 1, and I have since written 2020 far too many times. In notes that I've taken, I take notes in a notebook and I like to date them like every time.
I'm sure you're writing with a pen too.
I am writing with a pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, It's rough. I got to cross stuff out. And
so messy.
I think I realized the last time I took some notes that I had dated like the entire wrong month for like almost all of December. Like for some reason I was putting like October. I was putting a 10.
It felt like October. The days ran together last year. I can't really blame you, Ryan.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah,
I mean, they're still running together, but
they still are. And it's just, again, like we talked about like last year, but it's like this year, like we said, came out of the gate hot. And it's just like, again, days are melting. Time is moving by super quickly, but super slowly. Same time still.
Well, yeah. I mean, this past month was kind of weird because we had the whole situation with we had the election, and then for essentially 2 months, it was like every single day, this election wasn't fair, yep. Right? And we're going to prove it every single day. And it was just like, why can't January 20th just get here? Because I'm so sick of this.
Right.
So it was like super slow. Like, oh my God, we're still like 2 weeks away. So it was slow in that sense. Yeah. But at the same time, the days just flew by and ran together.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we had that little incident on the 6th.
Yeah, we had what some may consider a coup.
An attempted
coup. It just happened. Came out of the gate.
I mean, it didn't come out of nowhere.
Oh no, it didn't come out of nowhere, which is one of the most fun parts about it is the fact that the response to it was botched in so many ways. I don't know, dude. It is nuts. Like, if you somehow didn't know, it's just like no one can not know. Like Turkey was telling us to calm down, so it's
Turkey.
It's like it's not, nobody doesn't know. So yeah, obviously an attempted coup. People stormed our nation's capital, got on the floor, took all of the incriminating pictures, did all the things. It was nuts. And just like as a response to it, right, like it just nothing. Like I don't know, it was just weird. Like no one, I guess what I'm saying, like it seemed like no one was prepared for it. Like no one knew it was going to happen, but people had shirts.
Yeah, like shirts were made. This was talked about like it was planned.
There are
Facebook and
were forums,
other areas, Parlor
for that.
Forums, yeah. You know, I'm usually on Team Chaos, Ryan.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. In this instance, I am not on Team Chaos.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that day messed me up mentally.
Yeah.
It was a shock to the system. Not that, you know, I didn't hear about this plan thing, right? It's not like I didn't believe that it could or would happen.
Yeah.
Like, you saw people posting and, saying, we're going to, there was a rally from, the president and his peeps. They were talking about, like, everyone was talking about January 6th, there's going to be a protest or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, you knew something was going to happen that day.
Yeah.
But, I had a feeling that it was not going to be peaceful. It wasn't going to just be totally peaceful, is what I mean.
Right.
Like, there's probably some shit that's going to go down. Like, I kind of figured that through my head.
Right.
I had that idea floating. I'm like, it's probably going to happen. Something's probably going to happen. And it's one thing to think that, to project that or something of that nature. But when it actually happens, when you actually see people breaking the windows of the Capitol building, of storming in there through, I mean, very minimal resistance, going onto the floor, somebody got shot by Secret Service.
Yeah. I mean, 5 people died.
5 people died. Congressmen and women got, put into hiding or whatever. Not hiding, but
they had to like barricade themselves in offices or go to like
what I mean.
The secret areas are
kind of shelter up because there were people with like freaking zip tie handcuffs.
It's the most insane, like, to say like that guy could claim that he was there for anything other than a hostage situation. Like, I think I saw something about him claiming he found them. No, you didn't.
Okay,
stop it. You're in like full tactical.
You found like 100 of them. He's like carrying around, like, it's not just like 1 or 2 that hey, I found these on the floor.
A couple loose zip tie cuffs here. Do you guys know what I could do with these?
Just trying to return them to their customer.
Don't mind that I'm in here when I shouldn't be.
Don't mind me with my tactical vests and
tactical pen, my tactical underwears.
That a freaking cop got like killed with a fire extinguisher.
Yep.
Like, like it's on. Like I just cannot believe it.
Yeah,
like I mean I can because it happened, and like you have an idea that something like I could see this happening, but to actually see it happen, for it to actually happen, for someone to be waving around a Confederate flag in our Capitol building, that straight up messed me up.
Yeah, dude.
That's never happened before in this history. That is the complete opposite of what, like, the Capitol building in this country stands for.
Yeah.
We literally fought a war against
that. We are living in the winning side of that, and what is the right side.
I couldn't understand, like, even though I am not surprised it happened, the fact that it did happen, and you see it with your own 2 eyes, like it's actually become reality, is just beyond insane.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I just, it's like, I heard, sure, there were going to be people there because they were going to certify, Biden's votes, right? So
right.
I mean, your people are going to be there.
And they're talking like it's a protest. Okay, I can get that there's a protest. These people are of the belief, right or wrong, that this election was unfair, and so they're going to protest for what they believe.
Yeah. And
but
that's their right. But you cross the line when you scale the walls and break in, and you're destroying stuff. You're stealing a podium, you idiot.
Taking pictures of them, stealing podiums.
His wife is like a doctor, that guy, and her like practice just got like tanked like the next day. It was insane. I saw something where some teenage girl who had been like kicked out of her house by her parents. There's a video of this lady who got like punched in her face by like a police officer or some sort of security guard or something, and the girl like quote tweets it and goes, "Hey mom, remember when you told me not to go to the Black Lives Matter protest because it could be dangerous?
Oh yeah,
is this you?" Yeah, so just insanity. And like on that same note, like with Black Lives Matter, it's like when in DC when those protests were happening over the summer. They brought in everybody. They brought in like tanks, all this stuff, right? And they act like it was going to be the worst thing ever. And they, like you said, they knew that this was coming and could have been that way, like the way that they expected the BLM protests to be. And they're like, nah, we'll be fine. We'll just leave Capitol Police around, some of which I literally saw videos of waving people in. Come on.
Right.
What's going in? And it's like that stuff like that. Like that again, like I'm not surprised because they're people and everyone has their stance and their stuff they believe in. It's not unfathomable to think that some of those officers are on the side of the people that want to stop the steal. But like, you're supposed to be doing your job, which is to not let these people in. So it's when I see a video of you literally opening a gate and being like, come on in, guys. I don't know. I just feel like the reaction to it is just, that's what part of what I don't get, and part of what I feel like some people don't get about, like policing and the way stuff has happened in general, is that like the two different sides and the two different ways are like treated differently. That to me, that protest that was going to happen should have been met with the same amount of show of force and preparation as the ones that were happening over the summer. Because I don't know, I don't think that there's a reason to think that a group of people that are like up in arms about stuff like this, who, I mean, are in the same groups of people that stormed other capitals.
Yeah, they were trying to
anti-mask stuff. What
was it, Michigan? They were trying to kidnap the governor or something like that.
Kidnap the governor, and it's like whether you lump those people in with like Trump supporters or not, it's like just know that like this is a possibility.
Like, well, it's the fact that it's like, the federal building.
It's the one, right?
Like there's a difference between having, security for a post office, which is a federal building,
right,
and having security for the capital of this country.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what side you're on for any issue, if it involves the capital, you should expect like serious, like, hey, do not cross the line here.
Like I know I talked to a couple of my friends, like in my mind before the 6th, like you just got dropped by an officer or somebody if you tried to pull something like this. Like you're just like, you don't break in, you don't try and do these things, like it just doesn't happen. And I get that like, one person trying to do it versus like an entire large group of people doing it is going to be different. But at the same time, I'm like, you'd think for the federal building that security would be much higher and would handle this.
And once again, you knew this event was going to happen. You knew there was going to be a protest.
Yeah.
On the 6th.
And you knew, like, and then again, to bring it back to this summer, your response to that was just what I would expect. Like, treat it equally.
Yeah. Well, but there were rioters that burned down cities during the summer, Ryan. Whole cities are burnt to the ground.
Yeah. I actually heard, I saw from someone that I know, I actually heard that Milwaukee got burnt to the ground.
It is no longer there.
Yeah, I actually, and I'm glad I don't live there. Like, I live in Dallas, so
yeah.
Luckily I came away unscathed, but I guess I must have missed the giant fires.
Right.
Yeah, people just dead in the streets from all of the
it's like
the crazy rioting.
It's like Tiananmen Square, like tenfold.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Yeah, so obviously the people protesting to, I guess, just be treated like human beings are much more dangerous than the people who think that we should just ignore what what we've put in place for our democratic system. And I get it. Like, I understand, because it's like they legitimately believe the election was stolen or there's all this fraud and stuff, and it's like, okay, sure, I guess, even though there have been investigations and they came up with nothing. And did you see that one where it was like, show me the evidence that you didn't find anything? It's like,
they still claim that there's evidence. And you know what? If there is, okay.
yeah,
But you haven't proven it in any sort of legal setting.
some group of people are doing a really, really good job.
Like,
Of
you
keeping
have
this under wraps.
you know, quote unquote, top lawyers, which I don't even, that was a sarcastic quote unquote. You have good old America's governor, or not governor, mayor, Rudy Giuliani.
Rudy. Sweating out my hair dye. Giuliani.
He's on the case.
Caught propositioning.
You're off the case, Bobrovsky.
Get off the case, Brailovsky.
But, like, you know, like, apparently he's got evidence, and he's apparently supposed to be a really, really good lawyer or whatever, but, you know, in the 2.5 months that he had, nothing passed in the court of law. Like, nothing of judges that were appointed, plenty of judges that were appointed by Trump's administration.
Yep.
Like,
it's like
if there's evidence out there that, you know, can pass in the court of law, and you can prove that the election was stolen somehow just for one party and not the other, cool. Like, that sucks that that's the case, but until, like, that actually gets proven, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not gonna just believe on hunches and evidence that is not, you know, irrefutable. Right. That our election process is resoundingly rigged.
Yeah, and it's like it's funny because, you know, election-wise, it's like, oh yeah, all these fake votes and like ballots and like Trump's campaign against like mail-in voting, and the man's mailed in his votes for years. Like, I don't know.
Mail-in votes have been like the main thing done in Arizona for a long time.
Like, I got an email the other day that it's like the deadline for getting your mail-in ballots for like the spring primary is coming up. So I got to get on the site and register and get all my ballots sent for the rest of the year. I don't know that I want to ever vote in person again. Like, legitimately, like last year, I'm like, this is actually kind of nice.
Right.
And there's problems with the mail-in like system. Like, they can throw your vote out because they claim your signature doesn't match what they have on file from something. Like, sure, that's things could suck.
I haven't even checked to see if my vote counted. I never even checked.
I know it was received for sure.
Yeah, mine was received, but in terms of like actually counted, I never actually went back and checked because it was after, like, you know, the election day, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I was over it then.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's just, again, insane to see like Confederate flags, and I legitimately saw someone like that day when it was happening go like, how do you know they're Trump supporters? Because there was one Trump flag? Shut up. There were a million and all the things, and it's just like, stop the cap. Like, stop trying to make stuff up, like act like things aren't what they are in some cases.
All the violent protesters wear Antifa, Ryan.
Yeah, like, just suddenly, okay, just
whatever's convenient for you.
Yeah, whatever you can do to just be like, okay, great. And yeah, just like dumb stuff happening. The vegan Viking. I don't know that he's a vegan. The Viking guy.
He was refusing Well, he was refusing.
He can only eat an organic diet. He can only eat it, and then they give it to him. And that is one of the things that, like, that messes me up. Because, like, we've made Muslims eat pork in this country.
Yeah.
Because it's like, nope, your stuff doesn't matter. But, like, this dude says, I only eat organic food. And, like, you give it to him after what he did?
That sounds like a pretty liberal thing to me, Ryan.
Like, I would not have predicted that headline, right? Like, I wouldn't have predicted the headline of like, Trump supporter who stormed Capitol, jailed, and requires organic diet. Like, I don't know. I guess it just, not to, like, stereotype and put people in, like, boxes and stuff, but, like, it just, I wouldn't have thought that would be a headline that would come out of it.
Stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason.
Right.
Obviously, there are exceptions to the stereotype.
There are bad ones.
Yeah. And there are exceptions to the stereotype, and this is an exception to that kind of stereotype. Yeah, it's a surprising headline. It's like, it's just it's another one of those, are you kidding me things?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I can't actually believe I'm reading this right now.
And then Trump gets on finally to say something about it, and he basically says, I love you. You're great. This election was stolen. You are right. But I need you to go home. It's like, sometimes, man, like, in a situation like this, I don't know, I guess stick to your finger guns. But, like, dude, like, just say, go home. Don't add the rest of the stuff. And no, I don't know, man.
He's a martyr to them, though. I don't understand. I still don't understand how people basically shape their entire life around another human being.
Yeah, like, your identity is just so rooted in, like, I am a supporter of this person.
Yeah, like,
the closest thing I've seen to that is, like, religion. Like,
well, you know, pictures of ISIS.
Yeah.
With you see pictures from the Middle East there with ISIS trucks and flags, and you're like, oh god.
Yeah.
We got Al-Qaeda over here.
Al-Qaeda.
No, yeah, it's just like the whole phenomenon. It was just ridiculous. These 4 years, and yeah, like, even if he would have won re-election, okay, 4 more years. What happens after 4 more years? Do you just, like, do you continue, like, wearing Trump hats and flags and full body costumes?
Yeah, I tweeted about this.
Or do you, like, go back to your old lifestyle?
Like, who do we know people, and I think I might, that, like, 20 years from now are still seem like they're still going to be like, oh yeah, that election got stolen. This was crazy, and Trump was right, and he should be able to be president again and again and again.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past anybody. I'm sure there will be. I mean, you got people still thinking that Ronald Reagan was the greatest president ever to live.
Fuck Ronald Reagan.
My history teacher, my economics professor teacher in high school was a huge Reagan fan. I didn't really know enough then to really understand. But it's just weird to think about now, though. This teacher who bragged about having to save up to buy a used car really, really love Reagan and what he did.
Yes, it really worked out well for you.
Like, I don't understand how you could possibly think, like, his system was good, especially considering you're not someone who benefits from it.
Yeah, man. Like, it's one of those things, and it's like, to be honest, like, yes, I wanted Biden to win because I didn't want Trump to be in, but like that doesn't mean that I'm like a hardcore Biden.
Oh no, Biden was like the guy I least wanted. Well, not the least wanted. I mean, I sure as heck didn't want Bloomberg to win. Like I'm not really a Biden supporter.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like that people like on the other side, Trump supporters like don't understand and have it fixed in their brain. Like, how could he have possibly lost? Because Trump had so many people at his rallies and Biden had like nobody there.
Yeah.
Number one, there's a pandemic going on. And for whatever reason, this pandemic is political. So the people
thought the pandemic would be political.
Trump,
shout out to the Wisconsin. Shout out to Wisconsin repealing the mask mandate yesterday. By the way,
they repealed it.
Yep, we're in the minority of states who don't have a mask mandate now. Again,
I mean, I'm not surprised. I haven't really been keeping up with that stuff.
I'm surprised.
I wear a mask everywhere, so I don't. That doesn't surprise me because our government here, our state government, has just shut down anything our governor has tried to do.
Yeah.
In terms of mandates or whatever.
Mandates, women dates, any dates.
Yeah, but there's a pandemic and somehow it's political. So you have, a group of people who are generally leaning towards the left, towards the Democrat side, towards, Biden's side, who wear masks and, are quarantining or taking this whole thing seriously. And in general, you have, people farther right on the political spectrum who are, thinking this whole thing is a sham and conspiracy and just, whatever. They don't think it's actually a serious thing. So they will go to rallies. People on the left are a lot more hesitant to go to any sort of large, group events. So you have that. And then number two, on Trump's side, you have people who are just straight up. You have a group of people who are just straight up, who think he's the second coming of the Jesus, somehow.
Yes.
And then you have on Biden's side a group of people who just don't want Trump to get reelected. They aren't really a big fan of Biden. They just hell no to whatever that was for 4 years.
Me, I'm just like, I didn't like this, so I'd like something different, please.
I would have rather had Bernie Sanders or Andrew Yang or Elizabeth Warren. Like all three of those people, I would have rather have as the candidate, and I would have been a lot more behind than I am with Biden.
Yeah.
But I sure as hell was not going to vote for Trump.
Right.
And there's a group of people who just cannot get that through their skull.
Yeah.
That you look at these pictures and there's so many people at Trump rallies, nobody's at Biden's rallies. How could that possibly be that Biden won this election?
Yeah. It just isn't mathematically possible that, like, rallies don't equal an election win. Also, I don't know if they've heard of the Electoral College. So it's about who you vote for, not who you put a sticker out for. I saw someone posted something about like, oh, I'm like Biden won. I'm putting up my flag, and it was just an American flag.
Right.
Just American. And it's like, I live in America. This is the flag that I fly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was just like, oh my, you're right. Like I don't know that, and I think we've talked about this before, but I just don't know that I've seen people lean so hard into like, I'm putting Make America Great Again and Trump signs and stickers and everything literally everywhere and doing all the things. And it's like, I don't know that I will ever be behind a candidate to a point where I'd fly a flag. I might put a yard sign out, but even then, I think
I wouldn't even put a yard sign.
I think yard signs for your candidate are kind of stupid.
Yeah, they are.
I
Bumper
don't know.
stickers in general are stupid to me.
Generally,
You could have a bumper sticker that I completely agree with. You could have a bumper sticker that says puppies are adorable, and I will be, yes, you are correct, but I hate you so much.
Dude, what? Okay, so I feel a little bit bad when I think it. When I see people's like bumper stickers and their stickers in their cars or those magnets, whatever, it's like, I love my German Shepherd. And I'm like, shut up.
Right.
Like, I don't care. And it's like, that's fine and whatever. And I did buy like a window sticker thing that was, it was like a T-Rex eating one of the stick figure families. And it was like, your stick figure family is delicious. I thought that was funny. I have like a little mechanical keyboards window sticker that I think I'm just going to let my car die and put it on my next car. But like, that's even that, like thinking about putting that in my car, I'm like, nah, I don't know. I've got like my old Raiders helmet stickers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like sports team stuff. Like, I mean, I get how you get super, like, you know, into those things and brands or whatever. But like, yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like, I just don't understand it when it comes to political candidates or Congress people. Like, well, especially presidents, like they're going to be in office for a maximum 8 years.
Yeah.
Like, my life is not about them.
Like, your car could outlast that. It should.
My car has. Yeah, like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the entire thing with, like, for a while there, they made, with how just infatuated they were with Trump and Make America Great, they kind of, for a while there, they made like the American flag kind of like embarrassing. Like, I'm kind of embarrassed to, like, wave this flag.
And it's just like people having, I don't know. Yeah, it's like this weird thing where it's like someone, because like now it's like associated like, oh, the American flag and like Trump flag like are so like, yeah, these are the people.
Right. Like, they kind of turned it into their own version of like the Confederate flag, essentially.
Yeah, it's like weird. Like, I've never been a huge like.
No, I'm not
love the flag person.
No,
general, so
like nationalism is pretty dumb to me. like yeah, like I'm glad to be living in this country, and the what this country is, I mean, supposed to be about. Our history isn't great, but
capable of.
Like, the idea of a free country where people can essentially have freedoms and not be persecuted for what they believe in and what they say, and those human rights. It's the idea of that is great. I'm proud to be an American in terms of that. I will cheer on Team USA during the Olympics and stuff, like
100%.
Like, yeah, let's go USA, go team, right? But like, I'm not naive, or I'm not gonna just sit back and say like USA or America is completely perfect and there's nothing absolutely wrong with this country, because that's dumb. Like, no country is perfect. There can always be a way to make a country or any sort of organization or institution better.
Yeah. That's one of the things that like I firmly believe in with a lot of things. I'm the guy that gives like a 4 out of 5 on like everything instead of a 5 out of 5, because I'm like, There's always room for improvement.
So what didn't you like about this? Absolutely nothing. 4 out of 5.
Nothing. Everything was great. 4 out of 5, though. I don't know how it could be better, but I know that this 4 will make you push yourself. Unless it's like Red Robin and like Applebee's and stuff, where they like the wait person is literally like, if you don't give me a 10, I get like a demerit. I'm like, oh god, all 10s.
I'm sorry, but you only have the minimum amount of flair.
Like, if you want me to wear 12 pieces of flair, just tell me to wear 12 pieces.
Then what's the point of a minimum if you can't wear the minimum?
Right. No, yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. It's a whole thing. But like along those same lines, like like Parler, right? That whole thing. It's like they marketed themselves as like Twitter without rules, right? Like the ultimate free speech.
No rules.
There's no rules.
Oh my god.
Which is a great idea, because even on Twitter, when you let a bot loose and you let it learn how to be a person from Twitter, it becomes racist Hitler in an hour.
I mean, and any social media site, could be Twitter, could be Facebook, could be YouTube.
How many times people have tried that? They've just been like, well, I'm just going to write an AI that just learns how to be a person from social media. And it becomes
IRC chat, forums.
all
it doesn't really matter. Anything online. Anything online where people are essentially anonymous or feel like they're behind some sort of shield. It brings out the worst. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube comment section.
Dude, like
Instagram.
Rocket League. I was playing the other night.
Yeah. Any game, any online game. Halo.
I entered a tournament, and I'm playing this tournament with a buddy, and it's a 3s tournament, so obviously we get some rando.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, we're playing a team, and the team we played forfeited with, like, 3 minutes left, because we were up by 3 already. And it's, like, great.
Yeah, because you can't come back from 3 in 3 minutes.
You can't come back.
It's impossible in Rocket League.
I was like, that was quick. It's stupid.
You ever have a teammate want to forfeit when you give up a goal like 10 seconds in?
Yep. Someone's like, no, I'm just done. Like, dude, that was stupid. So,
dude,
like,
we've played together for 10 seconds. We don't have any chemistry yet.
We couldn't possibly literally click yet. I had no idea you were going to go for that.
There's no way we could possibly score a goal and tie this with 4 minutes left.
It's just possible. We're done. We're beat.
We're beat.
But yeah, it's like one of those situations where it's like, yeah, sometimes I play a little bit more hesitant, and I was, and like I had a save and not much else on the stat sheet, but I had like 120 points. Okay.
Points in Rocket League are just, they don't really actually mean anything.
Right. And so I say after the match, I'm like, well, that was quick, and the guy starts going in on me about like how I'm trash and bad, and he's like saying terrible things to me in Spanish too, and I'm like I understand what you're saying, not great. And so it's just it's like literally everywhere, like it's a game, dude.
Right
And like we won. Why would you trash talk me? I don't understand. So I tanked the next
same
match.
Team. It's like Goon. Same team, 5-hole. Berating your own goaltender.
But yeah, like Parler, right? Like they're like freedom of speech.
How do you get an account on Parler, or how did you get an account on Parler if you wanted to get an account?
I actually don't know. I was close to signing up just to see what it was like over there.
You had to like give them a picture of your driver's license, like during account sign up, to like verify that you're real.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Also, their website and system was haggard. We'll get to that in a second. But like, so yeah, they had this whole thing, and obviously people were using it to do some of the talking about some of this. But again, like this happened on all sorts of platforms. Parler got singled out, and shut
they're
down.
not big. They're not big enough to
they're
fail. They're not too big to fail.
Right. So like
which we'll talk about that in a little bit too.
Oh. So Google takes them off the Play Store, Apple takes them off their store, and then by like Sunday of that week, Amazon, at like midnight Sunday, Amazon said at midnight on Sunday, your hosting is gone.
Yeah, you're no longer on AWS.
So this is one of those things, and I'm curious how you feel about it, but like, I am glad in a way that like something like this couldn't be used to help do more BS like this, and like obviously leading up to the inauguration, help organize maybe something to happen at that event or around it. Again, not that Parler was the only place that it was happening,
right?
But like to that extent, being on this side, I'm like, good. But part of me is very much like,
right.
It's a great precedent to set.
A little bit of a slippery slope.
Like we've got like Google and Apple and Amazon deciding who can speak or who should speak or what is acceptable. Right. And I don't know, like, are you afraid that one day you're going to be on the wrong side of that?
So there's a lot of intricacies about this issue. Number one, first and foremost, I do agree that it's good that it kind of got, there was consequences that happened to them.
Yeah.
Because there were, hateful things and like, plans for, events and you can't just let threats, just like serious threats, and not just like joking. Like there's a difference between like when you're joking around with your friends, like I don't even know what it is,
right?
But like like things that are like super obvious that are like like
haha, like this. Like none of us, like me saying let's take over the UP, like
right.
Serious. And like my friends and I like joke about that in our group chat all the time. Are we serious? No, not even one bit.
Right. It's like this is gonna be a terrible example, but like it's the only thing I can think of. It's like, oh no, The Office got took off Netflix. Better go die. Like,
right?
better just die. Like there's things like that where it's obviously like it's a joke and it's not like a serious threat against anyone.
Yeah.
And there is, I mean, I'm not saying that in itself is a black and white thing. There's certainly gray areas there, but when you get to a point where there's threats being made and there's hateful speech and it's not just a one-off thing and it's like, okay, you need to do something about this,
right?
Because you can't really let that go because here's the thing, like, well, first off, First Amendment, nobody apparently understands what it is, but let's say for example, for whatever reason, let's say that social media is covered by the First Amendment and that it doesn't even make sense, this scenario, but like saying stuff, it like still doesn't, like, it means you can't be like prosecuted for it or persecuted for what you say or what you believe in. That's essentially the First Amendment. But it doesn't alleviate you from consequences.
Right.
People thinking you're an idiot, essentially.
Yeah.
Like or saying, you know what, you can't just go around threatening people's lives.
Yeah.
Right. So like I'm glad, it got taken down in the sense like, hey, we need to knock it off. And this is not a new thing. Like, this has happened since the internet began with forums and everything. Moderators just, will ban people, or, Xbox or PlayStation, they ban accounts for doing certain things. Like, you do certain things that, aren't good, aren't
like you can
following the rules.
And it's like the thing about it is like, it's terms of
use.
Service.
Yeah.
And you're at the will of the thing that you're using.
Yeah.
You are using Parler to say whatever you want. Great, fantastic. But Parler uses AWS, and AWS reserves the right to say nah.
Yeah. And they're a private company. Yes,
right.
They are a big tech company, and there's a lot of things that run on it. And in terms of the internet, that's a lot of it's a lot of weight.
A lot of pull. That's a lot of pull they got there.
Right. I get that. And there's this whole internet, censoring type of thing. But at the end of the day, there's terms of service, there's terms of use. Yeah, you can file lawsuits if you think you were wrongly, like those terms of service, like the Apple, terms of use, nobody reads it, and
the human
there's
iPad.
There's literally you can, if there's something in the terms of service that just isn't reasonable, then it's basically invalid. That's kind of a thing. Legally in a court of law, if you can make the point that this is just not a reasonable thing for a user of this service to have to deal with, every time you use this, fine print, every time you use this service, you owe us your firstborn child. It's that's not reasonable.
If you get over 20,000 tweets, we get your first kid.
You agreed to it. Well,
sorry.
I didn't read that far because I didn't think that was a reasonable thing, but
it still won't read.
It's just I'm happy it got done. The issue though is that Twitter and Facebook especially, these other platforms aren't really being consistent about it.
Yeah.
Right? For how long have people on Twitter been issuing death threats or doing other stuff, or frickin' Donald Trump's own Twitter account just going off the rails?
Yeah.
Doing things that were, or saying things and tweeting things that were completely against the terms of service, but because he was the president, he was immune to.
Yeah.
Accounts get banned every single day. There are things, it doesn't make the news, but there are bot accounts and things that, for whatever reason, there was a purge of ISIS accounts essentially, and those things have happened. This isn't the first time, this has happened in the history of the internet.
Right.
If you really want your own safe space, essentially, to do what you say, things that you were saying in Parler, create your own service then, and host it yourself, and I don't know, find someone to sell you a domain.
Yeah, it's weird because it's you're right. It's not. I don't know. Nothing really gives you the right to be I have the right to use this service, and we can get into what the.
You were a client. You were a customer.
The internet, and I'm a firm believer in the internet is essential and part of our push for I think both of us are on the same page about net neutrality and stuff, right? The internet should be free and open, and there should be better internet, and it should be made more widely available to more people.
Well, especially when schooling is being done remotely.
Right. If anything,
kind of essential.
Again, if anything, the past year has taught us is that data caps are bullshit, and
The internet is a utility.
Essential, and the internet is a utility. Yeah. So yeah, it's just one of those things that it's like, yeah, I believe that, but I don't know. Like, it's not. Again, you use someone else's service, and like you said, it's make your own. And if you say that's not like feasible or possible or that's not fair, then it's like, I don't know.
They have the same rights to refuse you as a customer, as a user, as a company has the right to, or a restaurant has the right to not serve you.
Right.
For not wearing a mask or berating your waitress.
Right.
Or whatever. If you're doing something that is against, terms of service, what is expected in such an establishment, whether it be a physical establishment or a virtual, then, well, don't you're not guaranteed to be able to continue using it.
Right.
People get banned from places for doing things.
Yeah.
People get banned from stadiums for being drunk and punching people and stuff. Like, this isn't new.
Yeah.
It's just virtual.
And there are differences between, like, obviously someone could take what you said and be like, oh, well, then someone should be able to refuse service to someone because they're black. And it's like, no, that's a stupid thing. That, like, being black, one, isn't a choice.
Right.
And two, isn't something that is harmful or should be offensive to anyone.
Right.
So, like, there's a difference between that and you coming in and saying, like, I would like to kill all black people. Like, I would rather not serve you. I don't like that. And so, no, thank you.
Right.
Please leave.
And for people who don't understand the difference between that, I don't really know how to explain it to you.
I don't know
I'm
how
sorry.
to help.
I don't.
If
I literally don't.
If you're listening to this and you don't understand the difference, feel free to reach out and I'll try, but I might not stick with it. But yeah, so that generally, I mean, what else? On the same page, like, Trump got banned from everything, right?
Right. He's no longer the president, so he no longer has that immunity. So, all the things he's done and said that have been against terms of service, now catching up to him.
Yeah, I found it interesting that, like, Twitter has a bit of, like, an exception for people like the president, right? Where it's like, they're at, like, in a position where, like, they can't really be considered.
Especially since he was using his account as, like, the official presidential account.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if he had just, if there was an account for the president, the president, and then, his personal account. Yeah. And his personal account just, they're separate, and his personal account starts just mouthing off and
being wonky. Yeah.
Then, yeah, like
you could ban the real Donald Trump at real Donald Trump without banning POTUS.
Right.
Like,
he could use, the actual, POTUS account and get that immunity essentially.
Yeah, that's one of the things that messed me up at the start of his presidency was, like, him not using, like, an approved device.
Right.
And, like,
everything he did
also tweeting from his personal account just seemed weird. It's like, just let him give you.
It's because it was all about his brand the entire 4 years.
His brand of being a terrible business person?
Of 6 bankruptcies? But he's really good with money, Ryan.
He's great with the money that
he bankrupted a casino. Who bankrupts a casino?
If you
the house literally always wins.
Sorry, but if you can't capitalize on addiction, quit.
Right.
Like, what else happened? What?
All right. So, this is still kind of going on. But when we're talking about, big tech and too big to fail.
Too big.
We start getting into the whole, like, banking and Wall Street. Mm-hmm. And something hilarious has happened recently and is still going on. Have you ever seen The Big Short?
I think I've seen The Big Short.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's actually the same director as the other guys. So you remember like the end? I mean, basically the other guys, like that entire, it was like kind of the same concept, like the storyline behind that, right?
Yeah.
Right? You know, funneling the money and everything and embezzling and like, you know, the end credits was all about, you know, that type of stuff. Like the director made that movie like on his way to basically making The Big Short, because like he wanted to make a movie about, you know, what The Big Short was about. He just wasn't there yet, so he kind of put it into The Other Guys. The Other Guys is a fantastic movie. I love that movie.
The Other Guys is a fantastic movie.
Love that movie.
Free hot dogs for life. No drinks. Can't do it.
I don't want no scrubs.
Come on, Captain. Do you hear what you're saying?
Come on, Gene. It's Captain.
You know what?
Sorry, Captain Gene. No, just Captain. Not Gene, not Captain Gene, just Captain.
Look out! There's a rapist in Central Park. Sorry, wrong clipboard. This is for my other job.
I mean, don't ignore it. You know, if you're
walk in pairs.
Walk in pairs. So yeah, here's what's going on if you're not aware.
And I just like as a precursor to this, I just like fully learned and understood what was happening today.
Yeah.
Like, today, someone tweeted like a thread.
Yeah.
Like explaining the general idea. So yeah, super interesting. But yes. Go on.
Because I mean, to be honest, like me, I'm not like super into financial stuff. Like I'm not big into stocks. Like my biggest thing with stocks was I was going to invest in Tesla when it was like $8 a share, and now it's like 800.
Yeah,
that never happened. Like that was
a mistake.
Like that's like my involvement was with the stock market and stocks and financial stuff. Like I don't really pay attention to my 401k. I should.
I made the mistake
but
last
I don't.
year.
I
made the mistake last year of looking at it like when it was down and like seeing the change, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah, I just don't have like a passion to actually like keep up with it, and everything. Like I don't know. So yeah, there's a lot of people. I would say the majority of people in this country who are probably pretty financial illiterate. Because there's a lot of people who, honestly, well, here's the thing: the stock market is not really it doesn't really equal the economy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there. There's a good chunk of people out there who just don't even have the means to even invest in the stock market.
Right.
It's not even a thing. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have any extra money to.
Yeah, their participation in the economy is paying for what little groceries they can afford.
Yeah. And putting a roof over their heads.
Right.
Putting food of some sort on the table. Staying alive, essentially. So, here's what happened. There is a Reddit subreddit called Wall Street Bets, which for years is just about essentially meme investing. They just throw their money at things and laugh it up. They just do ridiculous things. Yeah. They don't really care if they lose money or win money. Like they share the highs, they share the lows. They're like, what can we do that's super ridiculous in this stock market or whatever? Like they're
out there having fun.
Yeah.
You know, they're using all the emoji. They're like rocket ships.
It's the meme economy.
It's the meme economy.
So they recently noticed that a hedge fund, or few hedge funds, were targeting the stock of GameStop, which
the game store.
Yeah, for those of you who are not familiar with GameStop, think of them as essentially the Blockbuster for video games.
Yeah.
Well,
there, trade in your old games.
Yeah. So
sell them, buy new ones, all the stuff. Yeah.
So the super simple kind of explanation of the stock market is, it's where you go to essentially you can invest, where you buy shares of a company, ownership of a company, called stocks. And normally, or what's kind of expected from the economy when you're investing in anything, but in this case it's the stock market, it's companies, you invest because you think you can get something good in return. And usually that means money. Usually you invest.
You think you can sell higher than you bought for, make a profit.
Buy low, sell high. So you invest in a company, they grow, and they get more valuable, and then you sell your share of ownership of that company, that stock, for a higher price. And so you net a profit of your investment. Like, that's kind of what the stock market is. That's what you try to do.
Yeah.
That's how things work.
Like a fiscal adventure.
For the most part. And you can't really predict the stock market in the terms of like day-to-day stuff, because it's a roller coaster. Things go up and down quite frequently. But over time, over the long haul, it's pretty safe investment. That's why there's like 401ks and stuff like that. Like, they're full of safe investments that over time will be, you'll gain money. That's retirement accounts and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, but on the day-to-day, like, it's very fluctual, and it's tough to really predict. Some people like to play the stock market a lot and try to do, daily investing and try to find when, you can buy low one day and sell it high the next day and stuff like that, and try to make money super quick.
You ride the highs,
right? But there's this entirely different part of the game that's called shorting. Stock shorts. And it's basically the opposite of what I just explained in terms of you are investing, you buy low, sell high. Shorting a stock is when you borrow stocks. So you don't actually own the stocks, you borrow them, expecting them to go down. Maybe
even like somehow manipulating them to go down.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get that far into it, but yeah, like if you look at a company like Blockbuster or GameStop for this example, they don't really have their business model is pretty outdated nowadays. Like, they're not really doing all that well.
Like, GameStop was not doing well over the last year, for sure.
Right. It's kind of going down. So you have hedge funds who decide to short this company's stock, where they borrow the stock and they sell it right away. So say GameStop's stock value per share is like $10 a share. Right? So let's say I want to short this stock, and you have a share of GameStop stock.
I have a share.
And you're not doing really anything with it. You just have it. Like, you're not looking to buy or sell.
Amongst many other countries.
You just have it. It's like, whatever.
Vegetable oil, tires, stock in tires.
Yeah, it's part of a portfolio that you've had for a long time, and you're riding it. It's part of maybe like your retirement account or something. You're riding it, right? Well, here comes me, a hedge fund, who thinks, hey, I can make some money off this little maneuver I'm about to do here. Okay. So I say, hey, Ryan, can I borrow that share of GameStop? Right. I promise I will return it to you.
Well, that's
in the near future.
That seems fair. I mean, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, you're not doing anything with it, right?
give it to you and your bushes. I don't, whatever.
Yeah.
You do with it what you want.
So I will take that, and I don't own it. You still own it, but
that's good,
right? But I'm gonna sell it right now, but I still owe you that share. I still owe you in the near future that share back because
So you're gonna borrow it from me, but you're then gonna sell it, but you promise you'll get it back.
Yeah, I will give it back to you in the near future,
cool.
right?
That's cool.
So I take that share, I sell it for the $10 it's worth to somebody else. Thinking, okay, a week from now, I'm gonna, I expect that share's value or the value of GameStop's shares to go down.
Yes.
So a week from now, if everything goes to plan, that share's value, GameStop's share, is now valued at, let's say, $7. So
It's less. It's less money.
It's less money. So it's now worth $7. I'm like, great. I'm going to buy that share back or buy a GameStop share back so I can give it back to Ryan because it is, he owns it.
That's my share. You borrowed.
This was our agreement.
I need it back.
So I have bought a share for $7 with the $10 I originally sold a share for. So I have profited $3.
It seems like you've come out ahead in this situation.
I have. So that's what a short is. Hedge funds decided to do this with a lot of money. It's not just, profiting $3.
Like maybe like a couple $100 or
I think like a couple million.
Okay.
Right? So
they have access to a large amount of funds.
Yeah, they have a lot of money. And I'll get into the insane amount of money they have in a second.
Okay,
so this subreddit, Wall Street Bets, some people noticed that this hedge fund was targeting GameStop stock. And you know what? We don't like what you're doing. We don't care for you shorting this stock. So we're going to buy this stock. And a bunch of people went in on it, buying stock because they're just having fun. They're throwing their money. They don't care if they lose their money. Like that's what they're doing.
Lose their house over this. They're just
throwing some money in.
at it.
And it's a pretty cheap share. It was. Right? It was like $6 or something like that. So they bought this stock. They buy the stock, and because they're buying it, because the demand for this stock is now rising, that means the value of it is also rising. Meaning, this hedge fund who bought this stock at say, I don't know, $10, just for consistency's sake, was expecting it to go down. Yeah. You have a bunch of people start buying it. All of a sudden, it's now up worth like $300.
And now, remember, according to what you explained, that's my share.
Yeah, they have to.
For 10, you have to give it back. That was the agreement.
They have to buy those shares back at some point.
Yeah.
In the near future. So they have lost. They are losing money.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes this hilarious is, to me, obviously not to them. Clearly not. Is the fact that because they've invested so much money into this stock, and they've targeted this stock, millions of dollars, because the stock is now like 30 times the value it was when they originally bought it, their losses are in the billions of dollars, and more than that company, that hedge fund, is worth.
Yeah.
And so they essentially have to file bankruptcy.
Oh.
Because they cannot buy it back and fulfill their agreement.
Oh, God.
And this is absolutely hilarious to me. I have no sympathy for these people in Wall Street and hedge funds, and I don't. You look at the insane wealth they have. I have no sympathy for them at all. Now,
yeah, I'm not losing any sleep over
no.
it.
Now, the big thing that kind of happened today is these, places where you can purchase stock, like Robinhood app, Charles Schwab, these.
Your old E-Trades and
E-Trade, these marketplaces for stocks.
Yeah.
Because of this situation, because their clients, which are not the small investors using their apps, they're big clients who have a lot of money, are basically, they're getting threatened by this totally legal thing.
Completely legal.
People are just buying the stock.
Like, you decided, like, they're the ones taking the bets, the hedge fund. They're
right.
Like, we're going to borrow this and guarantee we'll give it back to you. And they're banking on the fact that it will go down so they can buy it back cheaper and make the profit.
There are no guarantees in the stock market. You made this bet and you lost.
Sorry you couldn't move in the shadows and no one realized, and now Reddit, of all places, like, geez, like, way to get, like, Reddit just assembled. And we're like, yeah, we're going to get all over it. And now they're doing it to AMC.
Yeah.
And a couple other.
Well, yeah, they're looking at what these hedge funds have been kind of targeting, and so they're just kind of picking those stocks. Because AMC is kind of similar in the sense because movie theaters have been wrecked pretty hard by the pandemic.
AMC was like pretty close to being like,
yeah,
no more.
So you have these hedge funds who have been treating the stock market like a casino and winning big for a long time. Now getting mad at small investors who this group of people at Wall Street Bets, they're getting mad at them treating the stock market like a casino and winning at the hedge fund's own game.
Yeah.
And so now you have these big hedge funds and big money investors not too happy with the situation and essentially forcing the marketplaces for stocks to kind of shut off the trading of these specific stocks.
Yeah.
And so that has kind of been that's been the talk of the day, essentially.
Yeah, that's what's come out of this. I've heard like they're trying to get together like class action lawsuits.
Yeah, there's class action lawsuits going on against Robinhood, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
By the way, with Robinhood, the name Robinhood.
Yeah, the irony that Robinhood, the app, is like, yeah, steal from the rich and give to the but not like that. Not like that. Don't do it that way.
Basically, a startup company that built up years to make stock market investing easy for everyday people like you and me, right?
Yeah.
Sign up for an account. You have a really easy to use mobile app, and if you sign up, you get a free stock. Like there's nothing, you can't go wrong with this. We are here for you.
Yes.
And
we're here to help you make money.
And now basically their companies, like, they're not going to really have any, like, people are going to migrate away from it because of their decision to stop this, to cater to their big money clients, essentially. Which, by the way, Citadel Investments, or Citadel, whatever they're called, hedge fund. They're a hedge fund. They're kind of the ones who, or one of the ones that really pushed for Robinhood and some of these other places to kind of shut this down. So when we talk about hedge funds like Citadel, let's take a look at their CEO. Let's talk about Ken Griffin a little bit.
Can we talk about Ken Griffin?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Ken Griffin.
I've been dying to talk about Ken Griffin all day.
Who has a name that is, seemingly like he's trying to be as cool, but never will be as cool as Ken Griffey Jr.
It's like he gave himself...
Like, sorry, Ken Griffin, but I doubt you could ever hit a home run.
He's like Walmart brand Ken Griffey Jr.
He will never be even half as cool. He may have a crap ton more money than Ken Griffey Jr., but he will never be nearly like a quarter as cool as Ken Griffey Jr. Anyhow, Ken Griffin, CEO of Citadel. Let's take a look at some of the real estate he owns. So he owns a $238 million penthouse in New York City.
Okay.
He owns a 230, like that's, I mean, it's New York City, but that's,
Which is more expensive, but $238 million is
it's a,
a good chunk of change.
that's a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
But wait, let me finish, Ryan.
Oh, are you saying that there's more?
Oh, there's more. He has more
thought that
real
one
estate.
man would only own one $240
Right.
million
What could you
penthouse.
possibly need more than
What
one
else could you need?
$284 million penthouse in New York City?
Oh my god.
He owns an $84 million mansion in the Hamptons.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, that's a nice little summer home or whatever. I don't know what it
Yeah, I
is.
mean, I don't know that I would stay at it.
Yeah, it's kind of a little shack, I guess.
Beneath me.
He has $350 million worth of mansions in Palm Beach, $97 million worth of mansions in Miami.
So much.
He has a $122 million mansion in London,
London.
and in the city where the Citadel, the hedge fund, is headquartered, he has a $58 million condo in Chicago.
It's just
So
too much. It's too much.
here's the thing. I get people having multiple, homes, right? Some people who are well off
Yeah.
have, a home, and then they may have a summer or a winter home, somewhere
Yeah.
warm, right?
Or you might have like a shared kind of like
Yeah.
family home that you.
They split the year between these two places because of the weather, and they can. And you know what?
Who wants to deal with
Cool.
8 to 10 inches of snow on
Yeah.
Tuesday or Thursday?
You know what? Cool. Like, fine. Like, that's not, I would say that's not unreasonable,
No.
right? Like, that's totally like a believable concept,
Right.
right? I mean, I don't have that kind of money to really do, or the situation to do it, but when I think of people who are better off, I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
If they can do it, cool. Like, if they can make use of these two places,
Right.
cool. You know what? Albeit, do it. This guy doesn't visit all these places within a year. He doesn't live in these places. He doesn't.
I don't know that you could. You can't own that many places and be like, what kind of life is that? You wouldn't. Do you want to live in 10 houses?
I don't know what he really does with these places, but the fact that he owns
Yeah, the party.
places that are that much money. So, like, of all the things I listed, let's take a look at the cheapest one, the least valuable real estate that he has, the $58 million condo in Chicago. If I ever wanted to, own a condo of that, value in, for my situation, and this is just straight up owning it. We're not even talking about like taxes on it and stuff.
Yeah. We're not talking about maintenance.
We're not talking
Yeah,
about, we're just talking about straight up just, just buying it, right?
Just face value.
The value of it. $58 million condo. In my situation, and here's the thing, I feel like I'm living a pretty decent life.
Yeah.
Like, things aren't really terrible for me. I don't live paycheck to paycheck. I can go on some vacation trips.
You're in a solid place financially.
Like I can live fairly comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not really struggling. So, like, I feel like I have it pretty decent. For me, with my salary currently, which is pretty decent, I would say. I mean, you know what my salary is.
Yeah.
You could probably back that up as, I mean, yeah, it's not outrageous or anything like that, or anything super crazy, but like it's solid. It's a solid number for where we live. For me to be able to afford to buy this condo, $58 million condo, it would take me over 800 years.
You know,
and that's pre-taxes, by the way, of my salary.
Before the taxes, because you have to remember they're going to pay the taxes.
So over 800 years, I would have to live and work and earn this salary, and that's his cheapest, least value real estate place that I just mentioned of his list.
I don't. And again, like, I'm not mad at people that have money, but I'm not gonna feel bad for this guy.
I am mad at people who have a certain amount of money. Because you get to a certain amount of money.
And what could you be doing with that?
Not just what you could be doing with it. The only way you could get to that amount of money is because you took advantage of people.
True.
That's where it's like, sorry, but like,
yeah, a lot of talk recently about like the minimum wage and stuff, and it's like people just not
yeah. You see there's a CEO, there's another CEO hedge fund that was or hedge fund CEO who was on he was being interviewed on, like, I don't know, CNBC or something like that. I don't know if it was early today or yesterday, and and he was complaining. He was saying, he's like, you got these guys who have gotten their $600 stimulus check. This guy who's worth like $2.3 billion or something like this, complaining about people with their $600 stimulus check investing in the stock market,
right?
And just like, imagine what they could do if they got the $2,000 stimulus check.
Right?
No, like, he's like, it's not fair.
It's not.
They're just doing it to hurt the wealthy.
Please shut up.
So like, you haven't, done things that hurt the poor at all.
How much could a banana cost?
There's no way you get to $2.3 billion of worth without taking advantage of people. Yeah. I'm sorry. Like, there's a certain amount of money that you just can't get to in your life without being a dick, essentially.
There's got to be something a bit off.
Like, other than that, there's people who earn more than me and, six figures or whatever like that, maybe even, in the millions of dollars for salary, which is still, it's getting to that point where it's like, okay, but like, in that range, like, that's still nothing. That is still nothing compared to
these people.
When you're talking about, like, the 1%.
Yeah.
Like, when we talk about people who, like, not only do I not feel sorry for them, I do not like them.
Yeah.
It's because to be in the 1%, to be in that big group, that you and I are not a part of.
To be in the club. You and I are not part of that club.
It's a big club, and we're not in it, Ryan.
You ain't in it.
If you're in that big club, I'm sorry, I don't like you.
Yeah.
Unless you are using that money to essentially, like you can use that if you're not actively using that money to make things better for the rest of society, then what's the point of hoarding that money? People complain about giving $600 stimulus check because people are just going to put it in their bank account. No, they're not. And so what? Even if they did, so what? It's $600.
What? Yeah, like, for someone like that to complain about, like, someone getting $600, it's like, do you even? You can't even understand what $600 is. Like, I don't.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, like, I forgot who said it, but there was someone that I saw or was listening to. I think I was listening to a podcast yesterday where they were like money. He's like, I think it was some like YouTube content creator, and he's like, I was at a point where I didn't have money, and then I was making money, and he's like, people say money can't buy happiness, and he's like, I agree that like money like can make life easier, which will make you happier, but there is a point of diminishing returns.
Oh yeah.
And like it's like once you get to a point, it's like, what are you really doing with that money that is really improving your life? Where like just for some people, $600 was the difference between them like surviving.
Right, like those
so
people
it's
who
like
need
if you have an insane amount of money, it's like for you, it's I can have a nicer TV, or something.
Yeah, like okay.
For someone else, it's like literally like, do I eat this month?
Like for me, who I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, I'll probably that money. Well, it did go. They'll just go into my bank account essentially, and maybe I'll use it to buy a cool like drone or something. I don't know. Right. I don't need it to survive, but there are a lot of people.
Economy at some point.
Yeah, it'll get back to the economy. But for the people who really need it, there's a lot of people out there who really need the stimulus.
Yeah.
That money's gonna get pumped right back into the economy. They got paid rents. They got like it's not gonna be sitting around. Meanwhile, you give bailouts or give this money to hedge funds and other large businesses or people who just have a crap ton of money. That money is going into it's just going to sit there, and they're going to just get interest on it essentially.
Yeah, so that they can.
They're not going to put it back into the economy.
Make more money, and so they can buy another Tesla.
So they can buy their third yacht. It's.
I saw someone's tweet that was like, "Yeah, after all this happened, I was gonna buy my wife a boat, but I guess I'll just have to get her like an expensive vacation or something instead."
It's it's hilarious that this is happening. I'm absolutely loving it. I have not participated at all. Like I haven't bought any of the GameStop stock or anything. Like I
like was gonna, like I was on the verge of like, should I?
Right.
But then like you said, like Robinhood and everyone else like shut down trading on stuff, and they're keeping a closer eye on these people trying to play it.
Yeah. And even still, like I don't really like if I want to do something that's, if I want to try investing in something, like I've put money into like cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
But I did it with two things in mind. I did it, number one, I thought, okay, this might increase in value, and that's the main reason I would ever put money into something, invest.
Right.
At the same time, I was fully aware that I could just lose all that money. Like it just
be burning that money. Like
that
could be it.
That the cryptocurrencies would just go down in value, and I would just, it wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
I understood that, and that's the gamble, the risk I was willing to take. In the terms of like GameStop's stock, I love what's happening, but like I'm not going to invest in it because I don't think it actually, it's not going to go up. At some point, it's going to come crashing back down.
Oh, it's spiking back down.
Right? I mean, it already is, but like,
you're right, dude. It was at $20 at the start of the year, and it got up yesterday to $347.
Yeah. So like, if I wanted to buy it yesterday, I would have had to pay $347 for it. Like, it's not, to me, it's not worth that. So like, I'm not going to buy it.
2 days ago, Elon Musk, like, apparently, like, hedge funds have tried to short Tesla before.
Oh yeah. There's been a big thing about that. Yeah.
I don't like these guys.
Yeah.
And so he just tweeted GameStonk and with a link to it, and that shot that up another 200. So yeah, 2 days ago it was at 147. Yesterday 347. Now it's back down to 200. But
yeah, there's been a pretty big war between Tesla and shorters essentially throughout its history.
Yeah, like speaking of rich people, I mean that happened so far this year too. Elon Musk, richest man, right? Surpassed Bezos.
Yep, yeah, that's true.
That happened.
Which, boo-hoo for Bezos. I'm sure he is
I feel real bad for that guy.
Yeah, sure, he is super sad about it. Yeah, I mean, how much money have all these people who have lost their jobs throughout this pandemic, who have been affected negatively, and I'm still of the belief that like quarantining initially was the right choice of action to do, to try and, especially considering that our hospitals didn't know how to really handle this this disease, essentially.
At the time, we weren't prepared at all.
Right. So quarantining was fine. The problem is, if you're going to mandate that, which I think was the right solution or right decision to make, you also have to support the people. Not like, businesses. I'm talking about the people.
Yeah.
You support the people, you put a freeze on, mortgages or rent or whatever, like things like that. And and I understand what that means in terms of like banking, and that, makes it so banks have less money to use for giving out loans.
Right.
But that's where, instead of that money coming from like mortgages and the people, the government also supports the banks with that money for lending purposes too. So it doesn't just become another 2008.
Yeah.
And I get that technically that should make like the, economy kind of like go down a bit, but like at the same time we frickin' print money. Like there are like the economy.
It's a construct.
It's a made up thing by people. Like whatever we think it's worth in terms of like, the value of our dollar essentially in other nations.
Yeah, it's one of those
like,
weird things where it's like
technically in terms of in terms of like economics, like in the theory of it, that should make the economy go down, but like, come on. I don't if it's a temporary thing where we're quarantining for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever it is, like some super temporary.
Yeah.
And they know we're going to get back up and running after that. Like there's no way they're going to just say, "Oh, all these things, this government support and money being handed out is going to completely tank the economy and we'll never recover," because we know where the end is. And like there's no way. It's just like we just didn't do it right. We just failed so hard at this. Yeah. You have all these people who lost jobs and got affected so negatively by this. And then you have Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and other really rich people making
$7 a second,
billions and billions of dollars of increased value throughout this pandemic, while so many have struggled and lost jobs and homes. And
it's just like that's what I was like talking about. Like there's a point of diminishing returns, and there's like you don't need that much. You don't need that much money at a point, and so it's like, and that money could be much better served instead of being in your account or making money or making these like investors money. It could be much better served helping keep those small businesses helping keep people with roofs over their heads,
right?
Like support a freeze on mortgages by like getting some of that money from people that have it all.
Use that money to pay for people's medical bills, or for people who have struggled with the COVID, or help pay off people's student loans or something. Because if people don't have student loans anymore, guess what they'll be able to now do with more money coming in without having to pay for those loans. They get to put their money into the economy and strengthen the economy, and you win because you make things for people.
I just want to let the government know that if you get rid of my student loans, I'll probably go out and get a truck next week.
Like
I will go get a truck next week, and that means that I will make the payments for the next 5 years. Like
people like you and me will have, well, not me. I don't have student loans, I guess, but like in terms of like people of our like financial standing, like we're not making millions and millions and billions of dollars.
Right.
Like we're gonna put that money back into the economy. Yeah. We are consumers. We're like the more disposable income we have, the more we're gonna use it because we want to, go on vacations or have some cool things and
for sure.
Like I don't know what to say. It seems like such like a no-brainer thing, but
yeah, dude, there's got to be something we don't get.
Yeah.
Or maybe we do get it, and it's just that these people are nihilists. These people are nihilists. They don't care about anything, Donnie.
Yeah. No. Like it's just when you get to a certain number, certain numbers just do not make sense. Like your brain cannot wrap their head around it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we know the national debt is like in the, I don't know, what is it now, like 13 trillion or something like that?
Trillions, yeah, some stupid amount of trillions.
It's funny how like, a big promise of Trump when he first got elected was we're going to get, deficit or not the deficit, but the debt back to zero or whatever. Or even the deficit. Let's just say the deficit.
Yeah.
We're going to get that to zero. It's going to, well, guess what? The debt went up like 5 billion or whatever, or 5 trillion. So like you can't have that happen if the deficit is even.
You did so well.
But no, so what I was trying to say is you get to a point like the national debt is like, I don't know, 11, 13 trillion or whatever. Like you get trillion, but like you can't really wrap your head around a trillion. Like a trillion of something, $1 trillion. Like it's just like that's just an insane amount of money. But you don't even have to go that far. Just a billion of something is a ridiculous amount of money, or amount of whatever. In this case, money. Like, what is the difference between 1 billion and $1 million, Ryan? What is the difference?
It's 1,000 times.
It's a simple question. If you take 1 billion and you minus 1 million from it.
Oh, it's 999 million.
999 million. So it's essentially 1 billion.
It's essentially $1 billion, yeah.
The difference between 1 billion and 1 million is essentially a billion.
Yes.
Like that amount of money, and the fact that you have people who are worth
$1 billion, Clay.
2.3 billion or whatever. Like, I don't care. I am not sad for you. I feel no sympathy, and I even dislike you a little bit.
I scoff in your general direction.
I bite my thumb at you, sir. I will fart in your general direction when I get a chance. Do not make me mock you a second time.
Your mother was a hamster. Father smelled of elderberries.
So, yeah. A lot has happened this year.
Yeah, and we didn't even get all of it.
It's just... And we didn't even cover everything, honestly. And this is a two-hour episode.
Yeah.
We're not going to go any longer.
No. We can't do it.
We can't do it. But
we hope you took a break maybe at some point.
Yeah, I hope you paused. Maybe you sped this up. I wouldn't be surprised if
at a faster speed.
Yeah, play us at 1.25, maybe 1.5. So maybe
I was actually thinking 1.25, but yeah.
Maybe even if you want to go to 1.5, if you go to a setting any higher than that, you get having like chipmunk voices, that might be kind of fun.
It might not be great,
but it also might be kind of annoying. So, But anyhow, we hope you enjoyed this episode or learned something from it or got something out of it at least. Because this has been some start to 2021. Absolutely zero chill.
Yeah. So quick. I just remembered.
One more thing before we.
One more thing. I'd be remiss to not give a shout out to our biggest.
Oh yeah.
Sharon Craker again.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Sharon, for the Christmas cards. She sent us nice Christmas cards. Wrote us little letters.
Absolutely. Biggest fan by far.
Yeah, she's the best. So shout out to you. Thanks for that.
That's right.
Thanks to everybody that listens, for sure.
But definitely, especially Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon, you're a real G. Love you.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I think that wraps it up. Let's get ourselves out of here.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Binary Brothers Podcast. We can't wait for you to tune in next time. But until then, make sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, and BinaryBrothersPodcast.com.